One of the most notable things in today's media landscape is its ability to deceive, often in ways that leave us questioning our own convictions. When doubt creeps in, when uncertainty colors our judgment, the media is quick to pounce. It is easier, it seems, for them to point out mistakes, particularly those of politicians, than to examine the policies they've implemented for the benefit of the people. We are often left in a fog of negativity, never truly understanding the full picture. Take, for instance, CNN journalist Caitlin Collins, a prime example of how the media spins narratives. She is known for skillfully implying that the Trump administration was a dictatorship, casting the actions of the president as part of a global problem. One such moment stands out: the renaming of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. To Collins, this was a monumental issue, one that deserved endless attention. But what was she truly aiming to highlight? Was it the policy itself, or the sensationalism of creating a narrative that could divide and distract? In contrast, Karoline Leavitt, in her reply, demonstrated the power of conviction. She answered with clarity, unfazed by the guilt-tripping that Collins attempted. Leavitt was steadfast in her belief that some of the media's narratives are carefully constructed to mislead the public, twisting facts to suit an agenda.
Final thing for you, which White House official made the decision to bar the AP reporter from the Oval Office and the diplomatic reception room last night?
Well, first of all, let me just set the record straight. It is a privilege to cover this White House. It's a privilege to be the White House press secretary. And nobody has the right to go into the Oval Office and ask the President of the United States questions. That's an invitation that is given. And there are hundreds of outlets on this campus, many of you in this room who don't have the privilege of being part of that pool every single day and getting to ask the president questions. We reserve the right to decide who gets to go into the Oval Office, and you all have credentials to be here, including the Associated Press, who is in this briefing room today.
But isn't it retaliatory in nature is the argument, because the reason that the AP was barred, which they said was because they're not using the phrase Gulf of America, they're using Gulf of Mexico in line with their standards. And so the question here is this setting a precedent that this White House will retaliate against reporters who don't use the language that you guys believe reporters should use? And how does that align with the First Amendment commitment that you were just talking about?
I was very upfront in my briefing on day one that if we feel that there are lies being pushed by outlets in this room, we are going to hold those lies accountable. And it is a fact that the body of water off the coast of Louisiana is called the Gulf of America. And I'm not sure why news outlets don't want to call it that, but that is what it is. The Secretary of Interior has made that the official designation in the geographical identification name server. And Apple has recognized that, Google has recognized that, pretty much every other outlet in this room has recognized that body of water as the Gulf of America, and it's very important to this administration that we get that right, not just for people here at home, but also for the rest of the world.
The strength of her statement was not just in what she said, but in how she said it, showing that when you are fighting for what is right, hostility and deceit often follow. For many, it is difficult to understand why some people, particularly those who strive to be true to themselves, are met with such venomous questioning. But when you stand firm, when you do not bend to the pressures of society's expectations, the backlash comes swiftly. The ordinary person, caught in the whirlwind of biased media, is easily swayed. They may not even realize they are being manipulated, as the tricks are subtle and precise. The deception lies not in the facts, but in the way those facts are presented, twisted and distorted to fit a narrative that keeps the public in line. As President Trump himself has pointed out, there exists a group of people, very smart people, who despite their intelligence cling to ideologies that are deeply flawed and destructive. These ideologies, as Trump suggests, are not just misguided but vicious in their application. It is this very group that often controls the narrative, shaping public perception through cunning tactics. Trump's behavior toward the media, particularly CNN, can be seen as a response to these deceptive practices. He is not compromising on his stance, and this unwavering nature makes him a target of relentless scrutiny. Yet by refusing to bend, he maintains his integrity. His responses are a reminder that once a statement is made, whether in the heat of the moment or after years have passed, those words will inevitably be used against you. The media, ever watchful, waits to twist your past words into ammunition, making you doubt your own convictions. The lesson here is clear. In a world where the truth is often veiled by media manipulation, one must be vigilant. The very things you fight for may be turned against you, and the ideas you stand by may be distorted. But as President Trump demonstrates, it is only through staying true to yourself and your beliefs, no matter how the world tries to sway you, that you can navigate the complexities of the media landscape with clarity.